Today we are discussing about the process that is known as the oogenesis. We have discussed the spermatogenesis in detail. Let's have oogenesis. Oogenesis is simply the formation of egg or ovum. Oogenesis is a discontinuous process. It's not continuous like spermatogenesis. It's a discontinuous process. It gets arrested at certain regions. You will see where it gets arrested. That's why we call it as a discontinuous process. During first month of gestation period, female fetus have, the fetus which is present within the uterus, the female fetus have 1700 primary follicles. This is some points which we have to keep in mind before discussing the oogenesis. It's simply the formation of nothing else. It's the formation of egg or ovum. But it's a discontinuous process. It gets arrested at certain regions. That's why we call it as a discontinuous process. During first month of gestation period, that if a female becomes pregnant, that is going for a first month of gestation period or pregnancy period, the female fetus which is within that female, the fetus which is present, that is a female fetus or a girl fetus, is having about 1700 primary follicles. During second month of gestation period, female fetus have 6 lakh primary follicles. Now, during 5th month, that means now the fetus becomes 5th month. During 5th month of gestation period, or pregnancy period, female fetus have 7 million primary follicles. That means the follicular concentration or the follicular cells, they increase. It becomes 7 million at the stage of 5th month. You have kept in mind that means when the pregnancy period is 5th month, now the fetus which is present within the female, that is now the 5 months fetus. That 5 months fetus is having about 7 million primary follicles. Then after what happened? The primary follicles, they go a process, we call that process atresia. That means the primary follicles show the process of, now these primary follicles show the process of atresia. What means atresia is actually the shrinkage of follicles. That means now 7 million follicles are there, primary follicles. Now these primary follicles, they will enter into the process, that process we call as atresia. Atresia means simply shrinkage. That means there is a shrinkage of these follicles Now, when the girl child takes birth, this girl child now have about 2 million follicles. If anybody asks you, why there is a decrease in the number of the primary follicles, the reason is due to the atresia. There is a shrinkage of the follicles. So during birth, girl child have about 2 million primary follicles. Now there's a decrease in number. If anybody asks us why there's a decrease, there's actually the process of atresia. There's a shrinkage of these follicles, and this shrinkage of follicles leads to the decrease in the number of the follicles, primary follicles. Now, when the girl child takes birth, this is having only the 2 million primary follicles. Now, at puberty, that is when the girl child now attains the puberty, that means now he becomes sexually mature. What will be the number of the primary follicles? The primary follicles again decrease due to the process of atresia. Again, the number decreases. If anybody asks you why, the process is atresia, the shrinkage of the primary follicles. So, at puberty, the primary follicle number will be, the primary follicles number decreases to, the primary follicle number decreases to 60K to 80K, that is 60,000 to 80,000. It decreases. If anybody asks you why, the process is atresia, that is shrinkage of the follicle, which has led to the decrease in the number. So when the girl becomes sexually mature, that means when it attains the age of puberty, now there's again the decrease in the number of the primary follicles. The number becomes 60,000 to 80,000. In every 500 primary follicles, there only one matures into egg. That means in every primary follicles, in every 500 primary follicles, only the one matures. That is, if we have 500 follicles, among these 500 follicles, only the one matures into the complete egg. Rest of them, they get associated with the egg. Egg is the follicular cells, but you have to keep in mind, in every primary follicular cells, 500 primary follicular cells, only the one matures into the egg. Now, this process of oogenesis, it takes place in various stages or various phases. It's also having the various phases, like we have in a spermatogenesis, same we have in a oogenesis. This oogenesis, it takes place in. Now, this process of oogenesis, it takes place in various phases. Like we have a process of spermatogenesis as well. The first phase we have is a multiplication phase. That means where the cells divide to increase in number, the process will be mitosis here. Then after the next one is a growth phase, where the cell increases its size. This is a growth phase. Then we have the last one will be the maturation phase. That means where the ovum or egg is formed. That process we call it, the process which will take place there is a meiosis. So these stages we have to study one by one. Say for instance, if we will take here a primary follicle, say this is a primary follicle. This primary follicle, it has to increase its number. So similarly, it will go into the process of multiplication first. That is a mitotic division. So when it enters into the process of multiplication, that will be the first phase. That means the number of cells or follicles, they will increase. Now the number gets increased if you have huge number of cells gets formed, but I will take the one cell and you see what happens to the one cell, same happens into the all cells. So if we take the one cell here, say for this is a cell which gets formed here. So this is a cell which is formed here. Okay, this is also the diploid cell because primary follicle here is also a diploid. Now it's also a diploid cell which gets formed with the mitosis. Now we can call this cell as oogonia. This is a oogonia. Now this oogonia, it goes into the next phase that is known as a growth phase. Now it enters into the phase that is known as a growth phase where the cell size increases. Say this may be the cell, its size has been now increased. Now how this growth takes place here? The growth here in case of this cell, the growth occurs due to vitalogenesis. Growth occurs due to the vitellogenesis. What is vitellogenesis? Is simply the yolk formation. So due to yolk formation, the size of the cell increases. It's again at 2n, but the size has been increased. You have to keep in mind. That means how much size increase here? In case of humans, there is 200 times the size increase in case of humans. In case of frog, it's again at 200 times. In case of frog. In case of hen, it's again at 200 times. In case of frog, it is 2000 times. 2000 times in case of frog. In case of Drosophila, it is 90,000. 90,000 times in case of Drosophila. So the size increase due to the vitellogenesis. How many times it increased? 200 times in case of humans. Now after that, we can now call this one as a primary oocyte. This is now known as a primary oocyte. You have to keep in mind now. This now the name change is now the primary oocyte. Now this cell will now go into the phase of maturation. Now when it goes into the phase of maturation, it will first enter into the meiosis first. Because meiosis takes place in two stages, meiosis first and meiosis second. Let's say meiosis first. What happens there is two cells are formed here. These are the two cells which are formed here. Now one cell is little bit larger and then smaller cell. Now this is acting as, say this is the meiosis which has taken place. Now these cells are acting as a haploid cells because meiosis has been taking place. Now these are haploid cells. Now you have to keep in mind the very important thing. This cell is acting as a first polar body. It's a first polar body. And this cell is acting as secondary oocyte. This is a secondary oocyte. This you have to keep in mind. Very interesting point. This acting as a first polar body now, and the next cell which is formed also a haploid cell, it is known as the secondary oocyte. But the most important thing which you have to keep in mind, that is why it is a discontinuous process. Oogenesis is arrested. Oogenesis is arrested. It stopped at diplotin stage. Diplotin stage of prophase first. Prophase first of meiosis first. It is stopped here. You have to keep in mind. Then after it is triggered, but you have to keep in mind, oogenesis is arrested, it is stopped at the diplotin stage of prophase first of meiosis first. It is arrested here. That is why I am using the word, the oogenesis is a discontinuous process. What happened to this secondary oocyte then after? If we will take here a secondary oocyte, now this is a secondary oocyte. Now this secondary oocyte, it will enter into the meiosis second. It will enter into the meiosis second. Now again, it will make the two cells. One will be the smaller cell and another will be the larger, little bit larger cell. Now, when it enters into meiosis second, when the meiosis second is triggered, you have to keep in mind, it is triggered due to the entry of sperm. It is triggered by entry of sperm. That means when the sperm enters into the egg, that means what will happen? The meiosis second is triggered. Before that, it stopped. That's why it's a discontinuous process. So it is meiosis second is triggered by the entry of sperm. Now it is acting as, this is also a haploid cell. This is also a haploid. This is again a haploid cell, you have kept in mind. Now this is acting as a second polar body. It's a second polar body. And now this is acting as a ootid, or you can also call it worm, or it is acting as an egg. You have to keep in mind. That means now this is acting as a second polar body, and this is acting as a ootid or egg. Now this is actually the complete process of the oogenesis which takes place in the female ovary. Now tomorrow we'll discuss some different types of eggs which are present in the different organisms.